Hey, YouTube Gunham here. Welcome back. So, I've been busy building up the next line, but worry about that later. For now, I'm going to show how to have a nuclear plant completely isolated, besides its nitrogen gas, which I could have isolated, but I didn't. Sure. For the construction of the plant, I built this massive array of conveyors and all, and I just wanted to make it look pretty, so I made it look all pretty. Yeah. The nitrogen gas is coming from a port way over there. There is one over there somewhere, but I didn't bother to get it. I could have, but no. Everything else is simply being used from it's being resourced and used nearby. So let's go over it. First off, yeah, we gotta get down there. So I just really like this. Look, I didn't have to do that. I just wanted to. The good news is, besides the nitrogen gas, I'm not actually using any of those things. So yeah. Actually, we gotta take a look see first. What am I doing? I did finish those things. So, the nuclear plant. In order to get the 15,000 megawatts those 6 reactors are outputting, and to have no waste, we need to do a lot of stuff. It starts back here. Some things are being resourced from over there, and are being brought over and then down. Sulfur and bauxite. Oil is being resourced from, you can kind of see it over there, and brought over, but then the rest is being resourced from nodes nearby and brought over here. Sorting, first off. There's also quartz. Sorting. So, from the sorting, first is a series of compact coal. The compact coal is needed for a few things, namely oil or turbo fuel, but that's just for burning. But there's also something else over there. This is just producing little copper. This here is also just producing copper. However, one of the first actual productions is right here. Which, now I realize my error. I want that filled up. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter, but I don't know if I do that, it's going to also... Never mind. I was thinking of how to get that filled up and then split, but nah, this works. So, oil. All the oil that's going into these is just producing plastic. No rubber, because you don't need rubber for the nuclear plant, but you do need plastic. And then, of course, you have the residual. Though there is the alternate recipe, which is this one, which requires that stuff, which you could get from this, but if you don't burn off the fuel, then you don't have enough. So I decided just to go with that recipe. So, but that does mean you have to deal with the waste somehow. Sure. I have these to consume the waste and turn into fuel, and then this, with that compact coal, turns into turbo fuel, which generates a little bit of extra electricity for me. Not much, but it's something. Now, next production is here. It's building wire. It's building a lot of wire. All of these are just producing wire. That's 6 sets just producing wire because I was having an issue. So, I mean, you need a lot of it. So that's just producing the wire. Let's see, compact coal on top here, compact coal on top, regular coal on the bottom. Everything else is there. Then Caterium splits off to there, and limestone to here. This is obvious. That's just concrete. Just some concrete for this. That'll continue on. But the Caterium comes to here to make Caterium ingots and quick wire. You do need some quick wire, so that's that. And I decided to start using those straight bits instead of the curved bits, just to make it look a little prettier. That's all aluminum. We'll get to that later. The Caterium comes to there and heads that away. The quartz making some silicon, and more silicon, which This is needed for one thing over there, but this is needed for my aluminum. Now, more limestone here, which is producing concrete, which that's actually not full, but that's okay. And there's more limestone here making iron in an alternate recipe. This iron ingots are producing iron plates, which are needed for further down. There's that plastic again, which, what's on the bottom? That's the coal. So you can see what's here, quick wire, plastic, coal, and copper, we're just going over there. But all these things are here as they're needed elsewhere in here. But I'm getting a little ahead. Next is steel. So that's building the iron ingots. This is building steel. The steel is going to these. These are making steel beams. These are making steel pipes, which actually, that's not good. I need to increase that. Luckily, one thing I have plenty of is power shards. I don't have very many power shards. I try to eliminate as many as possible. So I need that filled up because that's, I believe, for my electromagnetic control rods, or the stators for those rods. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty full. Okay. Well, I might ink them later, but for now, I'll just leave it in so it fills up. It's got to fill up that whole container too. It's always good to have a buffer and have that buffer full. So if this one's empty, that ain't good. So yeah, steel beams to steel pipe. That's aluminum. We'll get to that later. Over here, that quick wire and plastic is making AI limiters. All that quick wire and plastic, all this AI limiters. But there's more plastic needed down there, so AI limiters are going around there, but that's steel beams and concrete going to make encased industrial beams right here, which is needed for over there. Stators is here, which needs those steel pipes. With the AI limiters, comes over to make electromagnetic control rods, which is very full, and that's a good thing. Seeing these lines filled is phenomenal. The only thing that's not full is the uranium, which is from way over there. We'll get to that later. Now, I actually wanted to do this a while ago, show what the aluminum is and what's not the aluminum. Aluminum production. I want to separate with this red line so you can see just what is needed for the aluminum. Yeah. Let's double up, actually. It look better if we double up. Aluminum is a massive... Ah, dang it. Aluminum is a massive thing. So, I really should have done this before recording, but if you know me, you know this is how I do things. Alright. Let's try to include the silica. Well, I mean, I could. It is for that. But, nah, let's just do pure aluminum. There. Okay. So, the aluminum is everything over here. It's a lot of stuff. This quartz is for the aluminum as well, but that's just for the silicon. So, maybe I should eliminate some of that stuff. Let's make that a little faster. double output things, you want the one to be empty, so yeah, that'll work. So first off, we have water. A little bit of water coming up, flows down with bauxite, alumina solution, flows into here with a regular coal, not compacted coal, to make aluminum scrap and water. Water, you just burn it off, which I really need to yank those one coal generators. I really don't need them. In fact, I'm going to just go ahead and do that. I really do not need these 6 units here. So, goodbye. I'll eliminate that in an awesome sink later. So, a nice little gap now. But, yeah, it's just melt that, melt that, melt that. And then the actual aluminum and silicon has to come down here. It goes and gets turned into aluminum ingots in all of these foundries. The ingots then come over with copper. Remember that copper? Alkali aluminum sheets. Besides concrete, this is my favorite thing. So you need the aluminum ingots and copper ingots. But that's how you get your aluminum ingots. And the silicon is the quartz, and the aluminum scrap is all that stuff. You gotta get all of that for aluminum scrap. I have a lot of it, but I also don't have as much as I want. Now, when you have all of that, guess what? You're not done. You see, the copper actually comes around to here to make copper sheets. All these copper sheets come over with the alkali aluminum sheets in order to make heat sinks. I made way too many heat sinks, so I think I'm going to melt a few. Because I have way too many heat sinks. That'll help. Heat sinks are worth a pretty penny. I got a bunch of them. So, that'll help. I'm still low on those steel pipes, so it's filling up. So all of that is just producing the components for the fuel. But we're still not done producing components for the fuel. This is that main construction node that I was working on before. Am I going to need this stuff? I might. Am I out of concrete? I am out of concrete. Give me that. So this is literally just... it's just so that I had resources for constructing. It's not meant for anything else. I refuse to use any of these things with the exception of the nitrogen gas. Everything else is being built and sourced here. The sulfur is actually coming up over there, then it's coming down. So, yeah. So the nitrogen gas comes from the train. All this stuff comes here. The stuff that's being used is like the sulfur and more sulfur from a splitter and the bauxite. So now we have the water, which comes over with that sulfur to make sulfuric acid. And this time I kept these two units separated to make sure I could keep an eye on it. Now, sulfuric acid, concrete, and the uranium goes in here. And this produces my first thing, the encased uranium cells, but also produces sulfuric acid. So I gotta get rid of the waste, or I'd have a choke. That plastic comes over to make empty containers. It literally just makes, and it just builds empty containers to get that sulfuric acid waste product into an awesome sink to get rid of it. All gone. You're literally just done. The other sulfuric acid unit heads that way with the nitrogen gas, but that'll be a little later. This is the water to run the reactors. And it's all color-coded, so are the reactors themselves. Everything's color-coded, red, white, and blue, so I can tell exactly what's wrong with what if one turns off. I know exactly because it's all color-coded. This was a great decision. By the way, when I had my issue before with the other one, the issue, turns out, was having these go vertically. Having them be vertical like over there when I started from the ground and started to move them up. it actually didn't like it for some reason. This is vertical, but that's because it starts up high and then heads downhill. See, this vertical stack is fine because it goes down, but this has to go up, so I kept them horizontal. There's even a slight downhill point right here with these pumps to make it go okay. I never did cap this off. I really ought to cap that. Oh well, I'll finish that later. First, fuel. So, what do we have here? Well, the encased uranium cells, go on, the control rods, and those encased industrial beams. And this is actually producing the fuel rods themselves. There should be no buildup. I'm not getting any radiation, so that's good. Yep, it's just basically perfect. When that hits 100, that'll be done. And it's actually about done now. Here's the actual fuel rods. Yeah, beautiful. They're just going to head off to whichever reactor wants them now. There's that one, and they go. Now, importantly is, yeah, keeping your water separated, having a color code is great and all, but an important thing now would be the fuel rods. You have to make sure it gets separated. So the way I did it was simple. A splitter here, so that way what gets produced there gets perfectly split between the three lines. I have the three lines going and they're separated, and they just come down to their pair of reactors and split. So the one will split there, the other splits here, the third one keeps going to there. The waste is obvious. I have the green there, but this is orange there, and then I'll just follow it. It turns green over here. So, yeah. There we are. It turns green when it's outside. When it's inside, it's like that. So, yeah. So, now that we're here... By the way, I figured out what my problem was. It was this. What I didn't realize is that I double split the one instead of double splitting the other. So what I actually have is only 50% going over there and 50% going over there, instead of 75% going over there and 25% going over there. I did this wrong. You have to have the splitter to another splitter, and then all those to a merger here. I didn't do that. I had the merger in the wrong spot and the splitter in the wrong spot, so it was doing it wrong. So that's why that went bad. Now I need to correct this line at some point, but later. Now, remember those iron plates? They're coming over here with the nitric acid, or not nitric acid. Yeah, we are producing nitric acid. You need water, nitrogen gas, and iron plates. That nitrogen gas, which I could... Where are you? Getting it so close, I could. But, that's a kilometer away to get some nitrogen gas, and it's way over there. I got a bad idea. How about no? I just used it from the train. So, nitrogen gas, to make it easy, is nice and blue. Sulfuric acid, which, I forgot. Boop. There we go. Okay. That's 3.5 kilometers away is over there. Wow. What the? Huh. Cool. Any rate. So that is making my non-fissile uranium. Particle accelerator is taking the non-fissile and the waste and making the plutonium. That's all highly radioactive, so I do not want to get close. Oh, I saw power shards in there just because. So, the concrete and the plutonium is making the encased plutonium pellets. And that's super radioactive. This all just needs to be painted green, actually. But so, oh, forget it. It's alright. Just, this is all super highly radioactive. So those require, looks like, Well, the encased plutonium pellets, steel beams, electromagnetic control rods, and those heat sinks. That's where the heat sinks go. And that creates plutonium fuel rods, but I just awesome sink them. That way I eliminate the waste, and my awesome sink loves it. So, speaking of the awesome sink, it's about time I take a look-see. Especially because I just hooked up those heat sinks over there. I'm going to reduce it to level 3, actually. Alright, this is not radioactive. That'll be those heat sinks. So, that will stabilize and become lower, but... Jeez. I need... There we go. It's a lot better now. But there's always this little bump whenever the thing goes in, so... It's pretty good. I'm still working out some minor kinks here and there, but... By the way, with my new computer, it actually does shadow, including the space elevator, but I don't want to wait. The shadow moves if you watch. But the important thing is this works. It's all built over here. You see the shadow moving. A big shadow from the platform above, which is nice. All of this is built successfully over here. All of it is all the fuel is resourced and obtained with the exception of the nitrogen gas from nodes in the area, and is all produced here. In order to get 15,000 megawatts and have no waste built up, you look at that shadow moving, you need all of this. That is just for the reactors themselves. That's just that warehouse for the bringing the stuff so I can build it. But I'm not using any of this stuff for anything else, with the exception of that wire and copper there, because it's just wire and copper. Come on. Although I might go to something, drag some stuff out on occasion when I know I have a lot. I don't have steel pipes, but I bring steel pipes from the train, so it doesn't matter anyways. What matters is you need all of this to produce the power. All of that for the plastic, then copper and concrete, iron and steel, and then all the actual fuel themselves, and all that for the aluminum. And remember, that's just for heat sinks. I'm not using the aluminum for anything else. It's only for heat sinks, which is only for those manufacturers down there. The heat sinks are being produced there, which is way too many, but it's okay. All of this just for heat sinks. Then again, the oil is all of that just for some plastic, which I'm only using the plastic in, it's here for AI limiters, so I need quite a few there, and it's over there to build the containers to get rid of that sulfuric acid. That's it. That's my plastic. Get rid of the sulfuric acid and the AI limiters. But hey, it's AI limiters, which are one of the two ingredients for electromagnetic control rods. So, it's pretty important. But seriously, the fact that plastic is actually used for those, which goes into that, but aluminum is just for the heat sinks. It's just one thing, whereas the plastic is two at least, and everything else is a bunch. It's so much stuff. And don't forget, you have to get rid of your waste. So there's coal generators for waste removal. There's coal generators for waste removal. There's fuel generators for waste removal. And that's all they do. It's just eliminate my waste. All of this for 15,000 megawatts. Now, going up. There we go. Okay. All this for construction with the exception of the nitrogen gas. Yeah. There's the other train right already. Eventually I'm going to build a train track that goes alongside all of my other tracks. And it's just going to be a passenger train for me to look around my factories. But I need to connect it first. So I went all the way over here, and I've gotten that. Now I need to come down to over here, which is going to be the long one. That's going to be a while. So then I'll finally have my whole world going in a circle of trains. And then I'm going to make one super one that will start and stop at my main warehouse and start and stop at each corner. So I can, you know. But seriously, it takes so much to get your nuclear plants going. And the way that it's set, yeah, I did put that in there for those there, which I might want to slow that down actually. But yeah, I might want to slow that down. I will catch you later. Goodbye.